Hey, we've got a little time to kill before the next PSO2 emergency quest, so I'm gonna do some little bit of a campaign with the claws. I may or may not fully record this campaign. Maybe I'll put it up later. This hasn't been discussed before, but the campaign's about anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half long. They went to pretty great lengths to make sure that you can't just play forever and it doesn't drag on too long. So it's pretty easy to finish in one sitting, but in the event that you do need to go do something else, you can pretty much just back out of the game and auto-save. So there's no... it's not like a roguelike without saving, where you have to finish the whole run in one sitting. You can play at your leisure, pretty much. You can play like a single turn or a single fight. So I'm going to go ahead and use the claws here. Getting people to join your empire is pretty nice because you get the extra population. The population gives you more money. One issue with starting with the claws, even if you use the smoking mirror to get your second weapon right away, is that you'll definitely have difficulty fighting the bosses if you don't take the club as your second weapon. Now, hopefully they'll balance that part of the game out a little better. There's some weapons that you pretty much just can't use on bosses safely because of the way that the combo system works. Okay, so since I don't need to unlock the claws, I'm gonna prevent darkness. The darkness actually gives you some harder events from what I understand. Should be obvious why I like this weapon, but it definitely has some shortcomings. It was worth all the trouble it took to unlock it, but it definitely has some weaknesses. I must say, this game does a really good job with the unlockables. Sometimes they can be really difficult to get, but you actually do get rewarded pretty handsomely for it. I mean, you get a whole new moveset to play with, and all the movesets so far have had their own niche. You know, there are some that are better than others. Like the spear has good all-around range, but the damage is not that great. It has some of the best, aerial options in the game. So you can use that to fight enemies safely. But it's not really the weapon you use to pile on damage. The The rifle is great for breaking armor, but it actually behaves like a real rifle from this area where you can only use it once before having to reload. So it adds a whole dynamic of having to reload quickly. I can get this counter. There we go. So the bonus missions, just like the regular missions, are randomly generated, and they can be really important because they give you a decent amount of items. Sometimes you'll even get a cosmetic set. You actually have to unlock the rifle by completing the bonus mission, so sometimes that can be difficult depending on the situation. Like this one's a 16-hit combo, pretty easy with the claws, obviously. There it is right there. The pacing of this game is pretty good. Unless you take a really long time to make decisions, you're always pretty much in combat. While this is kind of a strategy mode, it doesn't take the... You don't need to be a strategy game expert to get through it. I've actually enjoyed this mode way more than I initially thought. I thought that I was going to just unlock everything and then never play this mode again, but it actually is pretty fun. Sometimes you get some pretty awesome builds, or the game will give you, it'll be nice to you and give you items, kind of like a roguelike. After you unlock all the weapons, you can also unlock a bunch of cosmetic sets. And I hear that those take longer than the weapons because they're mostly random. Landing counters with the claw is pretty satisfying because you don't have a block to hide behind. Normally, if it's an orange attack, if there's an orange exclamation point, then the only way you can defend against that attack is by parrying it. It would be otherwise unblockable. But basically, every attack is kind of like an orange attack with this weapon. Okay, I'm gonna get up to where I can choose a second weapon, then I gotta get ready for the PSO2 emergency quest. So apparently the smoking mirror was added because the beta testers are all experienced beat-em-up character action game players, and they wanted a way to get the second weapon for the juicy combat a lot sooner. But I can see it's optional because you can kind of increase the difficulty a little bit. Since this game doesn't have too many unique enemies, it's mostly the same enemy in different classes or ranks, like kind of like an actual army. Basically what it does is it spawns the higher rank classes a lot sooner. So, from what I've seen, the key to using the claws is to blood cancel, because you can't parry cancel a lot of stuff. I'm not sure why it's like that. Maybe it's just for balancing, but if you just use the absorb button, then you can pretty much cancel everything. Oh, cool. Triple choice rare item. I think the class system for the enemies in this is very unique. The problem we face in a lot of character action games is, enemies that are just annoying to fight that pretty much everyone avoids. It's been a problem for a long time. DMC4, as great of a game as it is, has a lot of enemies that even the most experienced players don't even want to fight. Whereas in this game, you kind of just get enemies that they kind of rank up with you, and they don't get too overbearing. I'm gonna take the spear for fun. I don't really care if this run goes through all the way or not. Oh, there we go. Get to unlock the knife. That was a cool combo. Alright, getting close to time to log on PSO2, try to get that next collection file weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off this turn, and we will continue this playthrough probably later this week. Shouldn't take too long. getting Aztez is important because not only are they're your lives, they're also how many actions you can take in turn. Game will usually end anywhere from turn 11 to maybe turn 14, depending on how things go. So even in this short period of time with me, taking time to talk and explain the mechanics and stuff, I'm pretty close to being halfway done. There are things that can prolong the game, like going to the underworld and stuff. This run's not going to go anywhere unless I get the club unlocked, because otherwise it's going to be a lot harder to break the guards at the end of the game, but whatever. I'm in it for fun right now. I don't really care about clearing at the moment. Spawning a plunder event is always really good. Alright, so turn 7's around the halfway point, give or take, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And go ahead and show the save feature before I sign off. Oh, here we go, I get to unlock the club, so this actually has a good chance of finishing. Anyway, you just go to the menu, and you have the option to continue campaign. So if you see people play this on stream and you see that it takes an hour to get through a run and you're worried that, you know, you have a limited amount of time to do gaming, you don't have to worry about that. You can, you know, finish one turn, which takes like anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, you know, every day if you want to. So it is paced really nice. Sometimes I get a little burnt out. I've been playing this game a lot, so it's nice that I can just come back later in the day and continue. I don't think you're limited to going to any of the other modes either, so it's pretty flexible. You also have full stats in here too. My max combo was 3,000. That was the run right here. Used to be second place, but apparently people have figured out some techniques to cheese the game. But I was in second place for a while, so you get all your stats as well. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.